Right now, someone in your life believes if they just earn a little more, they'll finally be happy. Maybe it's you. But here's a scene. It's 1 a.m. and the city's lights are a soft, hazy glow from a penthouse apartment where Jason, a partner at a law firm, stares at his phone. His bank account is overflowing, but his messages are hauntingly empty. He hasn't laughed genuinely in weeks. Did you know that early research suggested that above $75,000 a year, increased income barely moves the happiness needle? A study by Nobel Prize-winning economists Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton found that beyond this threshold, emotional well-being levels off, as if financial gains lose their potency. Another deep dive into data from Purdue University suggests that the ideal income point for life satisfaction lies between $60,000 and $75,000 annually, depending on global regions. Why does money so often fail to deliver the happiness we expect? And why is this hope so persistent that we ignore its frailty time and again, even when the data screams otherwise? Let's start with the concept of hedonic adaptation. This is the psychological trap where after a positive or negative change, we return to our baseline level of happiness. Jason's excitement about his first big paycheck fizzles within a month, much like that new car thrill that fades before the first scratch. A study by Brickman, Coates and Janoff-Ballman in 1978 showed that lottery winners were no happier than ordinary people 1 year after their win, illustrating the fading impact of newfound wealth. Meanwhile, back at Jason's office, a promotion gives him a rush of pride. Yet months later, the grind feels just as mundane. The same study highlighted how paraplegics, despite their misfortune, return to their previous levels of happiness within a few years, suggesting our emotional resilience is more robust than we credit. But not everyone succumbs to this adaptation. Those with rich social lives or passionate hobbies often beat the cycle. They find that real joy isn't tied to income, but experiences and relationships. Research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development shows that people with strong social connections and those who engage in activities they love regularly report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction. This allows them to sidestep the hedonic treadmill, finding contentment in what they have rather than what they lack. This leads us to a deeper truth. What we pursue often blinds us to the other factors that genuinely sustain our happiness. Have you overlooked the true sources of your joy, chasing bank statements instead? Next is the scarcity principle, which suggests that what is rare feels more valuable. For Jason, free time is a scarce resource, and hence a source of real contentment when found. In an office down the hall, his colleague, a single parent, cherishes an uninterrupted evening with her child, infinitely more than any bonus. A study from the University of Zurich revealed that having more free time contributes to higher levels of happiness than an equivalent increase in income. But there's a twist. When scarcity is enforced, like forced overtime, its desirability vanishes, leaving resentment instead. In fact, the American Psychological Association has reported that stressed workers, driven by a lack of free time, often experience lower levels of job satisfaction and overall well-being. The illusion of scarcity often masks itself as ambition, making us sacrifice the irreplaceable for the illusion of gain. When have you traded precious time for superficial rewards? Now consider the Diderot Effect, where acquiring one new possession creates a spiral of consumption. Jason's new suit makes his old wardrobe look tired, prompting more purchases. In a different arena, a startup founder feels compelled to upgrade offices to match their competitors' splashy headquarters. This phenomenon is rooted in our desire for aesthetic coherence, which can draw us into relentless cycles of spending. Yet some step away, choosing minimalism, and find satisfaction in simplicity. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research suggested that adopting minimalism can lead to increased happiness and life satisfaction. One compelling example is the rise of the tiny house movement, where individuals opt for smaller living spaces to reduce costs and focus on fulfilling experiences rather than mere possessions. Material accumulation often distracts from deeper happiness, sparking a cycle of want rather than fulfillment? Have you been caught in this loop, mistaking possessions for progress? Let's pivot to the principle of least effort, which shows that we naturally choose paths that require minimal work. Jason orders dinner in, justifying it as self-care after a long day. But true satisfaction stems from effort and engagement, spending an evening cooking with friends, savoring the process as much as the meal. Renowned psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's research on flow states that the deepest satisfaction comes from stretching our abilities in challenging activities. Yet, the Harvard Business Review acknowledges that sometimes the easiest path is genuinely restorative. Knowing when to embrace effort versus ease is the mastery. Is the comfort of convenience worth the sacrifice of deeper, more rewarding experiences? Each choice either nurtures or neglects your well-being. Are you prioritizing convenience over deeper, more rewarding experiences? Finally, there's social comparison theory, which states we determine our own social and personal worth based on how we stack up against others. Jason's contentment with his salary vanishes when he learns a peer earns more. Across town, a young artist finds joy in her craft, until a friend's gallery show elicits envy. Yet those with gratitude practices, who measure against their past selves, break free from this cycle. Research from the University of California, Davis, by Robert Emmons, indicates that gratitude can significantly enhance well-being and counteract the negative effects of social comparison. In fact, a consistent gratitude practice has shown to increase happiness levels by up to 25%. This relentless comparison erodes happiness, dimming the unique beauty of individual paths. Are you measuring your happiness by someone else's ruler? Back in that penthouse, Jason's phone vibrates. A message from an old friend suggesting a late-night coffee. It's a moment of choice. Everything he's chased sits around him, but real joy knocks lightly, offering more than his wealth ever could. It's in these quiet choices that life's real rules emerge. True happiness isn't bought, it's lived, often in the simplest of moments.